Hello, so we will be talking about MapReduce counters. We often want to know or analyze the data which we are inputting and outputting. So for example, if we are counting the number of invalid records and discovered that the proportion of invalid records in the whole data set was very high, we are prompted to check why so many records were marked as invalid. So maybe we did something wrong or the code does not work. So counters are useful channel for gathering such statistics about the job for quality control and for application level statistics. In Hadoop, counters are a convenient way to gather much of the diagnostic logs. Also, it is an enum in the code in the Apache Hadoop. So it has various types. We will go into the types later. Uh, Counters also ensure that if the code or the program reads and writes correct number of bytes, it has launched successfully correct number of times, or whether the CPU was used proportionately. So the next are the build. So we have few types of counters. From that, we have one is built-in type counters. So there are five built-in type counters which help like these are the inbuilt Hadoop counters provided by Hadoop. And so task counters are which one which gather the information about task over the course of execution. There are various parameters to it or various output types which you can utilize. The file system type counters are which denote the number of bytes used or number of bytes written operation for reading and writing. File input format task counters are ones for the number of bytes read, and file output format tasks are for the number of bytes that are written. The next are the user defined counters. In the case where we want to have any kind of tracking for the number of records which are written in mapper and reducer, then custom counters are used. Also, we can use the user defined counters in debugging where we can input the number of bad file records. This also gives the user flexibility to have their custom logic for identifying the issues which they face. Also, there are two types of user defined counters which are user uh, defined counters in streaming and one are in the Java. When you are working with Java, you can create using the enum, and there are counters that are implemented in MapReduce streaming programs already. There is one special type of built-in counter which is known as job counter. So what it does is they are maintained in the application master, so they don't need to send across all the network unless like the other counters which are sent across all the nodes. For example, the properties or the counter types can be launched map task, maps in Uber task, field mask tabs, field reduce task, field Uber task. So these are some of the examples of job counters, and these are stored only at the master application master. So the question is identify the types of counters for below counter examples. To count the number of keys appearing reducing. So for that we will use user defined counter, the number of bytes read and written. So for that we will use built-in. To count the number of map tasks that were launched, we will use user defined, and to count the number of unique keys appearing across, we will use the built-in counter. Thank you.